Thought sustains the astral body. It is thought which sustains the astral body. Do you think that the astral phantom walks upon the floor of a house because the floor holds him up? No. Never that. He is independent of the floor, he does not make contact with the floor at all. Yet he can walk upon it. Why? Merely because his thought sustains him. He has always walked upon floors in the physical, and, through force of habit, thus learned in the physical, the habit rooted in the subconscious mind, he is sustained. The habit of walking upon a floor permits a phantom to do that in the astral, holds him on the line of the floor. So, the desire to walk upon an upper floor could sustain the phantom and allow him to do that. The subconscious will regulates the weight of the astral body, causing it to rise, to fall, or to remain at any given elevation. The conscious will can do the very same thing also. All this can never be explained by mortal mind, how thought creates or makes reality in the astral world. Imagine walking upon the upper floor of a house, as if that floor sustained you, and yet not making contact with the floor. You would naturally suppose this would be a strange sensation. But it is not. In fact, it is unnoticed by the phantom, but if one begins to think about it as I have, many times, down through the floor one goes. Why? Merely because the projector hints that the floor, not making contact with him, cannot sustain him. One goes along, unconsciously walking in this manner, because the subconscious will, through habit, actually holds the body in its position. You do not think of walking in the physical, do you? Neither do you in the astral. It is habit, in other words subconscious expression. Similarly, when you walk upstairs and downstairs, in your astral body, you are not aware that you are not actually stepping upon the stairs. But think of it, and down you go. All this has a striking resemblance to the Bible story, in which Christ walked upon the water. His thought sustained him, but when Peter, who stopped to think about it, tried to do so, down he went. There is not the slightest doubt that Christ could do this. He could do it in the physical body by levitation. He could do it in the astral body naturally, merely by thinking he could, and his thought sustained him, as thought will sustain each and every one of us when we depart from our physical anchors. One more case to illustrate how erratically the mind can function in the astral. As a rule, in our earthly life, we dodge automobiles, at least we try to dodge them, while crossing streets. It has become a habit with us to look, before crossing a thoroughfare, and wait for approaching vehicles to pass. Now, I remember one occasion when I was projected in the astral body and walked down the street. I was about to cross to the other side, but stopped to see if a car might be coming. At the same time, I knew positively that cars could not harm me, but would pass right through me. Force of habit. Similarly, one will dodge other persons, at times. One may be walking along the street, and, on meeting someone in the flesh, will dodge unconsciously. On the other hand, one will at times pass right through earthly people, never think of colliding with them. All of which goes to show that, in the astral, what happens on one occasion may not happen on the next. It all depends upon the dominating thought in the mind, conscious or unconscious. Speaking of passing through earthly beings, this is a thrill indeed when one does it for the first time. It has been said that, when this occurs, the earthly being feels a chill. I do not know whether this be true or not, but I doubt it. The astral being feels nothing at such a time, yet it is a real thrill to pass through beings material. There are no words to express the feeling of prodigiousness which overwhelms the projector when he becomes perfectly conscious in the purgatory of the dead sees earthbound phantoms. Rides upon the air, sustains himself by thought, passes through material beings and objects, which offer no more resistance than the air itself, and listens to the chatter of those who suspect not his presence. And chatter it seems, too, for, when one is in such a state, with the miraculous all about him, how trivial seem the commonplace subjects of everyday discussion. No wonder that the dead soon forget to listen to the constant chatter of the earthly. And yet, for all the marvelous things upon the astral plane, it does feel good to get back into the physical body again and touch. Touch. If one could only feel things in purgatory. That is the hell of it, speaking seriously. It is a wonder to me that some of the case-hardened, earthbound phantoms, under a super stress of habit or desire to make touchable contact, do not go insane. There is but one cure for this condition, and that is to turn away from the earthly to will to break the stress of habit and desire to make contact with the earthly.